I avoided getting a passport for 35 years. Last week, I walked into the courthouse and was in and out in under 10 minutes. And now I'm just waiting for it to show up in the mail. If you've been putting this off, and I know some of you have, let me walk you through exactly what I did so you have no excuse not to do it. But I have a scouting trip planned for the Philippines, and you can't exactly show up without a passport. So I finally did it. Here's what the process exactly looks like. First thing you're going to do is go to travel.state.gov. This is the official department site. Do not use anything else besides the official site. You're looking for a form called the DS11. You bring it in with you. That form looks like this. Okay, so there's one very important part about this form, and it comes down on page 5 here. You do not want to sign this form. If you sign this form, it is null and void, and you have to fill it out again and then you have to sign it in front of the lady at the courthouse or your post office. The form itself is pretty straightforward. You know, you're gonna need to fill in the basics of like your name, your address, your place of residency. Basically, it's a step-by-step process, and you don't even have to open up this PDF file. If you head back here and you click on Get US Passport, after you do that, you're looking for I'm applying as an adult. If this is your first time. And after this, you got to read through this. This is apply as your adult, your first time adult applicants at age 18 and older. If you're younger, you need a guardian. So it's a step-by-step process. It's very simple. So first step here is you go to fill out form and print it. That basically, if you click here, we'll go over one. You have to accept their privacy settings. You hit submit. And then right here is the submit, fill out online and print. So basically you have the options to print out that form I had on the first screen and fill it out all by hand. But this is actually a much simpler way to do it. It lets you fill in the boxes that are on that form, and basically everything you type in here will be printed out onto the form when it's done. Make sure you fill out as much information as humanly possible. All these red stars is mandatory, but even on some of the stars that aren't mandatory, like this employer/school, the lady had me fill in those anyway, because apparently the more information you fill out, the better with getting your passport. And so there's really only one part I didn't expect to have to put in there. I needed to know my parents' birthdays and place of birth. I mean, I know those things. I just never filled it out because they were not red starred on this list. So that's basically the DS11 form of it. The other things you're probably wondering is, what do you need for the process? Let's go back to here it is. Get evidence of U.S. citizenship. Obviously, you're going to need your birth certificate. They send this in. They take your physical birth certificate and then they send it into the passport agency. And the lady that helped me asked if I wanted a copy of it, so I did. You also need a photo ID. That can be your state address or your state issued ID or a driver's license. You need to provide photocopies and additional documents. So right here, it basically says you need to provide a photocopy of your citizen evidence and your photocopy of your photo ID. The lady at the my courthouse did this for me, so I didn't have any of these with me. Basically, for your photo, you can pick a place that takes your photo, which I did. My courthouse takes your photo for $15, or you can provide your own photo, and I know you can do those at Walgreens and whatnot. The fees themselves are pretty easy, but it's a little tricky though, because for the DS11 form passport book, it's $130, and they will only take check or cash money, or a cash money order basically. I brought in a check, and the passport book is issued to a U.S. State Department. Yep, here it is. The facility fee. So $35 to the facility fee. So it was a separate check, and my facility also added the $15 on top of the $35, and that ended up being $50. So total, I paid $180 for my passport, and that's without the rush order on it. I did not need a rush order. That is an additional fee. And then really the next part of this is pretty easy. You need to find a location. Basically, most places that will do this are your courthouses, not all courthouses though, just some, and your most post offices will do passports, and then there are some third-party agencies that will also do passports. I believe there is a tool in here. There's a tool in here. Is this it? Yes. A tool where you can put your zip code in, and then it'll give you the closest facilities that will offer these services. I suggest just putting your zip code in here and going to whatever. I went to the courthouse because it was so close to where I live, but most of the time you'll probably be going to a post office. Okay, so the actual appointment. This is where I figured it was going to be a whole thing. It wasn't. I walked in, I handed over my documents, they took my picture right there on site, signed a form in front of a lady, and paid the fee. And done. Simple as that. Under 10 minutes. So what does it actually cost, and how long does it actually take? All in, budget is $180. $130 to the State Department and $50 to my facility. Routine processing time is 4 to 6 weeks once they've received it, adding mailing time on each end. And you're realistically looking at about 8 to 10 weeks door to door. If you need it faster, $60 extra gets you that expedited shipping, and we're talking 2 to 3 weeks for most agencies. I went with the routine just because I have time and my trip isn't anytime soon. 35 years, and it took 10 minutes.